Hello everyone, welcome to the Greycat channel. This is my Yu-Gi-Oh! Online channel. I'm going to present you some of my Yu-Gi-Oh! Decks, some of my strategies, perhaps some duels. And to start it off, I decided to go with something special, and I give you my, wait for it, my Exodia deck. Yes. Uh, I recently made it. This is the newest Exodia. In my opinion, one of the, if not the fastest way to summon Exodia. This deck build has been called Exodia FTK, Dragon Exodia, Blue Eyes Exodia. I don't care for the name, I just call it the Exodia deck. So just let's get down to it. We of course need the 5 Exodia pieces. I still need the head. If you have one to spare or trade, please contact me. You can make a deal, trade cards. I can draw you something like this one. Okay. Next up, of course, to the namesake, you need 3 blue eyes white dragons, one of my favorite, and of course you also go with 3 white stone of legend, commonly known as the egg. When it goes to the grave, you get blue eyes from your deck to your hand. Okay. Next up we have 3 Flamvo guards. You use it to discard, but also it can defend you since it has 2000 defense points, which is pretty high. And next up, the spell cards. Triple card of consonance. Discard a dragon tuner with 1000 or less attack points. You essentially want to discard the egg as the picture shows. Okay. Next up we have triple trade-in for the blue eyes. Oops, sorry. And of course, in every deck of this kind, triple abstract goblin. You give your opponent 1000 life points. You don't care about life points in this kind of game. You draw one card. And to recover your monsters, triple dark factory of mass production. To recover your spell cards, magical stone excavation. Discard 2 cards, get 1 spell card. Card destruction for more drawing and discarding. And future fusion, a pretty interesting tag in this deck. What you want to do is send as many white stones from your deck to the grave to get as many blue eyes as possible. You can get a +3 in your first hand with this card. So if you get this at the beginning, you more or less won the duel. Okay. Monster incarnation, in case you want to recycle your Exodia head or white stone. And a card that made this deck so abusive, super rejuvenation. For every dragon monster you discarded or tributed this turn, you draw one card during your end phase. Plus it's a quick spell, so if you draw it during your end phase you can still activate it and draw more cards. The dragon count does not discharge since it's a new card. Well, in this essentially it works kinda like Tribune Frog in its standby phase. You can tribute it as many times you want, it still comes back. In this case you draw cards. Okay. More end phase activation. Hand distraction. You can also activate it of course in your main phase. Both plays send 2 cards and draw 2 cards. Okay. And lastly, triple reload to recycle your hand. You can also use it to get more cards from your dead hand. Okay. Uh, if I get a pot of Greaterosity, also known as pot of duality, I'll probably swap one of these for it. Okay. Now for the extra deck, you have to run extra in this deck. Not for tuning, cause you have a lot of tunnels but no materials and no way to obtain material from your opponent. You get 5-headed dragon. You use it to run Future Fusion. Also, if you manage to hold on for 2 turns, you get a 5000 beater or defender. I honestly recommend defending with this guy, cause he can be destroyed by battle with anything that isn't light or divine. Also, it's big. Okay. Next up, if your opponent plays machines, you run Chimera Attack Fortress Dragon. Also for attack or defend, whatever you prefer. So, this has been my Exodia deck. I don't run it in tournaments cause it's sometimes too much to handle for a brain to count cards for, let's say, 6 rounds. That's up to 18 duels. So this gets you a bit messed up in the end. But it's still fun to play. You can make it, it's pretty easy to make. And well, this is pretty much for the beginning. Rate me, subscribe, comment, type me if you got anything interesting to share. Okay, and see you online.